Hello, my name is Lisa Ross, though you may know me better as Paper Daisy Creations, and I am the knitting pattern designer behind the Socks of Green Gables, inspired by the Anne of Green Gables books. This is the Lady Cordelia sock, and I'm going to be showing you how to make left and right twists without a cable needle so that you can create this beautiful cable patterning all the way down the leg and the instep of the sock, and you won't need a cable needle for this part. So here I have my second sock in progress, and I am ready to work a twist. So I'm going to begin by working a right twist. And so what that is doing is taking this second stitch on the needles, which for me is a knit stitch, and it's going to cross it over in front of this purl stitch. If I was using a cable needle, I would slide this first stitch off and hold it to the back so that I could work the cable in front. However, I don't need the cable needle to do this method. So what I'm going to do is begin by knitting these two stitches together. So I do a K2 together, but I do not remove those two stitches from the left needle. I keep them on there. Now, without removing that stitch, I'm going to work the first stitch only. And now I'm ready to take them off of the needle. I slip those off, and as you can see, my cable has crossed in front of that purl stitch, and that will be ready to purl on the next round and continue my purling pattern. I'm coming up to the next cross. Now this is the start of the diamonds that appear in the middle of the patterning, and I've already worked the first right twist, the very beginning of the diamond. So while it's hard to see, I'm going to be working that right cross yet again. So to show you again, I'm going to knit these two together, like so. And now I'm going to knit only the first stitch. So when you knit the two together, do not take the stitches off the left needle and go and work the first stitch only. That twists my stitches. I've got the cable patterning going off to the right, making my right twist, and this second stitch will be ready to work as a purl. Now I'm ready to work a left twist. Now for a left twist, and I'll show you where I am in the patterning. I'm at this part right here where the cables branch off to the left. To work a left twist, I could use a cable needle, putting this first stitch on a cable needle, holding it to the front, working the next stitch, and then knitting off of the cable needle. I'm not going to do that though. I'm going to do this much faster method. Now, the left twist is a little bit trickier, but you'll get the hang of it, and it will just, the patterning just flies off the needles once you get used to making this left twist. So I'm going to reposition these first two stitches because I want to take them and flip them so they're facing the opposite direction, just like you would if you were working in SSK. So I'm going to start by slipping each of these stitches knitwise one at a time. So I slip the first stitch knitwise. Now I slip the second stitch knitwise. And I'm going to put those stitches in their new position back onto the left needle. So I'm going to slip them purlwise this time back onto the left needle. And as you can see, those stitches have now been twisted. They're facing the opposite direction that they were. Now I'm going to be working through the back loop. So as you normally knit, this would be the front loop. This would be how you would normally knit if you were working it this way. Of course, we've repositioned the stitches, so things are a little bit different. But we are going to work into this part of the stitches. We're going to work first into the back of the second stitch on the needles, and then we're going to work these two together through the back loop. So it's sort of the opposite of what we did with the right twist in order to work this left twist. So I'm going to start by knitting into the back of the second stitch on the needles. And make sure you don't split any stitches, but I'm into the back of that stitch as it's positioned, and I knit that stitch. I do not take it off the needles because I'm going to work one more thing. I'm going to knit these two together through the back loop. So I go behind both of those stitches, knit together through the back loop, and pull it off the needle. And now I've worked my left cross. So I've now got these stitches branching off this way, and with the right cross or right twists, I'm branching off this way. So I'm going to purl these two stitches, and now I'm ready to work another left cross. So I'll show you that one more time. I'm going to slip this stitch knitwise, slip the second stitch knitwise, reposition purlwise, and so now those two stitches are in the correct position so that I can work these stitches through the back loop. So I begin by working the second stitch on the needle through the back loop. I go into the back of that stitch, knit it, and now I'm going to knit two together through the back loop. So I'm going to go through the back of both of those stitches as they're positioned, and I'm going to knit that. I slip those stitches off the needles, and my left twist is complete. I hope you have found this tutorial helpful. Again, this is from the Socks of Green Gables sock collection. These are the Lady Cordelia socks, and you can find them both on Ravelry and on paperdaisycreations.com. I wish you all happy knitting.